Hi everybody, my name is Kevin Jackson and I am a 2D cartoon animator and welcome to my channel Imagine Culture Media. So today we're going to be looking at the hand rig for Melly where she's picking a guava as you can see here on the screen. So what we did was we started off by just creating a rectangular shape for the forearm and just rounding off the wrist and adding a circular shape for the palm, which we're just going to shape out a little bit more. We're doing this very rough, just some very rough modeling, rough sculpting, adding in the thumb using an oval or using a circle and just stretching it out to an oval. Here I was contemplating using two sectional fingers because in my head I was, picturing um, doing the rig to make the fingers curl, but later on I decided to throw away that concept because she's going to be grabbing a guava, so she's not exactly going to be curling her fingers over like a fist. So I didn't want to overdo the rig. So here I am positioning each of the fingers, and here I am still kind of running through whether or not I should use two sectional fingers, basically the lower joint and upper joint of the fingers. But I'm gonna get rid of that notion, as you'll see soon. Right here, I am adding a patch. So patches basically just, um, it's kind of like a mask. So it hides certain lines that are overlapping, especially if you want to, so you want to rotate without seeing the drawing exactly rotate in certain areas. You don't want to see those overlapping lines, so the patches kind of help with that. So here I am just shaping the fingers out some more, not making them so stubby. And you're gonna see me mostly focus a lot on shaping and sculpting the fingers the way I want. Now, some of you might be saying, oh, all of these steps just to create a hand, could have drawn this really quickly. But the whole point of cutout animation is reusability. So here I'm just doing a quick render to see how the hands are, and I'm liking the shape, but it definitely needs some refinement. So I'm gonna go in, start refining the thumb, and you're gonna start see me, um, messing around with that meat of the thumb, the drumstick part of the thumb, and moving the patch around to get the lines just right, reshaping the palm, seeing if this will look better or not, and just kind of resizing the fingers, not making them so stubby, because even though this is a child's hand, it's not like super stubby hands like a baby. This is your toddlers, so to speak, or small kids. So just here reshaping and giving enough distance between the fingers so it doesn't look too awkward. I'm liking how this is looking, so just gonna increase the size of the forearm, and I only need to focus on the hand because in this particular shot Melly is just reaching up and grabbing a guava, right? So we don't need to see the rest of her. I have a rig for the rest of her. So as you can see here, what I did was I added some bones from the forearm to the wrist and spreading out to each finger. And I am just binding the bones to different points of the shapes, the drawings, to basically just tell the bones what points they are controlling. And as you can see here, I'm testing the thumb, and I'm going to test pretty much all the fingers. I'm here making sure the thumb passes in front of the other fingers. Um, and you want to go through and just keep testing your rig as you go along. Think of it like in a 3D rig, for example. You always want to be testing to make sure nothing breaks and make sure everything behaves the way you want it to behave and things look natural. So I just waved the hand a while ago. There was a little tiny little wrist kink there, so we just adjust the wrist a little bit to make it as seamless as possible. And right now I'm pretty happy with the rig. So what I'm doing here now with the rig is I'm basically creating some foreshortening of the hand. So picture the hand kind of like bending back before it grabs the guava. So that's what I'm testing here. Right? You see the hand kind of go back. So I'm adjusting the size of the fingers, kind of foreshortening, fake foreshortening by shortening the bones. And you see there it has that effect of the palm being pulled back, or the fingers being pulled back, and then as it goes up and reaches, it grabs. So right here now I'm messing with the shadow settings, adding some shadows to give the hand dimension, and I'm messing around with what the shadow color should be. So just try that little purple there. That's a little bit too cool for the time of day. So start by adding a highlight. Here I am testing the animation for how the hand emerges into the shot. Yeah, so you can see here I'm just messing around with the animation, the timing, the spacing, the staging. So I'm just going to draw this green ball, which will be representational of the guava. I'm going to bring in a background that was created by Philip Taylor. Philip Taylor is an excellent artist, illustrator, book writer. He does a lot of things graphic wise. He's my go-to background artist for Melly and Delly. He really does amazing backgrounds, and you guys should reach out to him and hire him. He's from Home Studio, right? Excellent artist. Anyway, so here I am, pretty satisfied with how it grabs the guava. So now just doing a little render out of the animation, and yeah, I'm liking how it looks so far. So just giving it a background so we can see the separation of things. And once I'm satisfied enough with the shading, I will be doing the keyframes. As you can see here, I am setting the keyframes, and I'm setting the keyframes to step, so it gives a more frame by frame kind of vibe. So you can just see me here messing around, and I think I've gotten the shading that I want. Really trying to bring out the black skin, and here is the test with Philip Taylor's background. And that's it. Thank you for watching.